Test audio covering a range of sounds remain in Half-Life Alyx. This includes some test dialogue for various characters. While Eli's test uses audio from Half-Life 2, other characters have new lines by temporary voice actors. Here are those new lines.
When the Citadel is completed, the weapon will be sent, and the fate of this organic sphere retreats into emptiness.
Why would you want to fight against equality? In all my communications with the Combine, from negotiating our surrender to listening to their plans for the future, they've been nothing but rational. Let's not forget, they mastered interdimensional travel, they've all but wiped out the Vortigaunt menace that we brought upon ourselves, and they're in the process of cleaning up the quarantine zone for us.
We don't shoot our friends, not unless they do something unfriendly. Save your enthusiasm for the inspection in Brassbound.
It should be noted that prior to being cut, Han's final design was of a woman. As well, Dr. Breen's appearances in-game were through various props. The final hours of Half-Life Alyx gives us quite a few pieces of concept work for the City 17 area. Although the others appear to be painted or drawn, this final image appears to be a mix of drawing and Source 2 mapping. These railings, radio, and roofs appear without alteration in Half-Life Alyx. In fact, all the buildings in the foreground are largely as they appear in the first map of retail Half-Life Alyx, with some minor texture and positional changes. In the Sector C lobby in Half-Life 1, a wireframe map of the upper levels of Sector C can be found on the wall. Here's that texture on its own. And here it is in comparison to the three maps it is representing. There are a few notable differences, however, between the retail maps and the texture. This includes more rounding in some of the halls, and the area around the locker room being completely different with no elbow hall and lacking the HEV room entirely, as well as other smaller details. Thanks to the book Raising the Bar, we can take a look at numerous bits of concept art, such as this piece for Blast Pit. At this stage it is referred to as the Tentacle Silo or C1A4. The central idea of blasting the tentacles with a test jet after activating the power, oxygen, and fuel, then escaping through the central pit was retained in the retail game, though this was done over several maps instead of one, all of which use C1A4 in their names. There are some differences, however. C1A4I begins off to one side rather than the back of the control room. The method of reaching the generator, as well as the design of the generator itself, is also different. Notably, this concept art mentions that the generator would have featured the Stukabat, an enemy that was cut from the game, though still exists in the files of both the original game and Half-Life Source. Remaining in Half-Life Alyx's files are several bits of audio that have gone unused, found in a file called Temp NoShip. Based on the rest of the file's name, it appears that they would have been used at some point in the final map with the G-Man. Take a listen.
So, Dad's okay, right? Russell, what did you guys find back there?
Open your eyes. Open your eyes. Go! Stay safe, baby. I love you.
Alex! Put on my headset!
I'm with you every step of the way.
So I was thinking I could talk to you about sandwiches, if you like.
I love you too.
In Left 4 Dead 2, if you go into the developer console and type map curling_stadium, you will, as the name states, be in a curling rink composed of bits of the Dark Carnival finale stadium. On the ice are several objects that can be sent down to the other end of the rink, including a proper curling stone, a car rim, and a bell-shaped industrial light. No other weapons or interactive objects will spawn, but sometimes one or two common infected will. This map can be found and played in Gmod under the Left 4 Dead 2 tab if the game is mounted. In Portal 2, in Chapter 2 The Cold Boot on SP-A2 dual lasers, there is a small alcove off to one side. If you go down into it, you'll be greeted by this. This is Exile Vilify by The National. There's also Doug Ratman art around it that references lyrics of the song. The radio will disintegrate when it touches the Emancipation Grill. Have you ever wanted to watch a Counter-Strike movie? In CS2 on Inferno, if you head to kitchen or apartments, you can find an open book. Written in it is the synopsis to a Counter-Strike screenplay. Described as an action thriller, the plot largely involves blurring the lines between the digital and reality. Following a game of Counter-Strike, the protagonist, Mr. X, receives an encrypted message that a rogue organization are planning on using the game to attack global security systems. After recruiting Alex, Lucia, and Milo, they begin training under an enigmatic mentor to prepare to fight against this rogue org. The group of heroes infiltrates the headquarters of this rogue org, and their actions are mirrored in the game. The heroes confront the mastermind behind this organization and must navigate a labyrinth of virtual and real obstacles. Finally, Mr. X hacks into the rogue org's network, disables the cyber attack, and the heroes emerge victorious.